Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to a short bite. Yes, glasses on today. It's a very, very bright day. Here in early March, I'm here in the county of Oxfordshire, just outside the village of Uffington, to have a look at the famous White Horse. This area, in fact, is known as the Vale of the White Horse. And this is the North Wessex AONB, area of outstanding natural beauty. Now, as well as being the North Wessex AONB, this area is also known as the Berkshire Downs, although today we're not in Berkshire, although this area originally was, because Berkshire contracted around 1974. So down there you might be able to make out Uffington's church, which is where I was earlier this morning making a video about the Wilts and Berks Canal. But I hear all about the horse. So let's climb up to the top and I'll tell you all about it. So we're currently looking up to the top of the ridge. This is where we need to get to, because that there is the ridgeway itself that runs along the top. It's a long distance footpath going across the top there. And when we get to the top and have a look at the horse and I'll tell you a bit about that, what I know about it, there is another interesting feature here, and that's an Iron Age fortification, except it's not known as a fort but a castle. So we'll have a look and see if we can find that. I think that's on a slightly higher ridge above the horse itself. So we have a very good explanatory board here. And something that's slightly unusual is that flat-topped hillock there, which is known as Dragon Hill, and it's a main outcrop from the main downward scarp. And it was scoured into the shape by meltwater during the Ice Age, and then levelled off by the Dibuni tribe. That was a Celtic tribe that we've mentioned previously here on West Country Wanderings before the Roman invasion, to get the shape that we see today. But what we're going to see, though, is the oldest dated chalk figure in England, which is just over the other side of the ridge there, and it dates between 1,400 and 600 years BC, so much older than the other ones that we have seen before on the channel. Covered the one at Churhill previously on a monthly vlog near the town of Calne. I think there's about 8 or 9 around Wiltshire. Now, why is it called Dragon Hill, though, even though the Dibuni tribe were there? Well, it goes back to legend, the legend of St. George. It's supposed to be the site where St. George fought and slew the ferocious fire-breathing dragon. And there's a white mark on the top of it. I'll see if we can have a look down at that as we get fire on up. And yeah, that white mark there is said to be where the dragon's blood lay into the ground. And now we're just starting to appear to see the famous White Horse itself, that very sparse marked horse. Well, some people have considered it to be possibly a cat or other animal over the years, but now I think historians are agreed that it is indeed a horse, but very minimalist compared to the other ones in nearby Wiltshire. So there we're looking at the hind legs of the famous White Horse here on Uffington Hill, or White Horse Hill. So now we're at this angle, you can actually see that white scar just on the flat top of Dragon Hill. You can almost imagine a helicopter landing on it, couldn't you? But no, so it's a scheduled monument there, but it is a naturally occurring geological feature, although the top of it, albeit altered by mankind. There's a great interpretive board here, describes the view you can see from the top from Swindon. I can see that insurance block you can see from the railway station there at Swindon over to Shrivenham, Highworth, which I drove through on my way here today, to the Defence Academy, RAF Fairford, Coleshill, Flamborough Wood, Badbury Hill, Woolston, the Cotswold Hills, Farringdon, RAF Brisnell, to the railway, of course, which I saw earlier in my Wilts and Berks video, the church at Uffington, right round to the Chilterns, Kingston, Lille and Didcot. So on the way to the White Horse you have this feature here, which is a pillow mound. It's a lozenge-like shape and it's a burial mound containing burials and they found skeletons dating back to the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, Roman times, and the Anglo-Saxon period. Burials included men, women and children, while some skeletons from the Roman period were found to have coins in their mouths in order to pay for passage into the next life. And of course there's many other burial grounds around this hill here in Oxfordshire, denoting its symbolic significance to humans over generations. Well, there it is, the amazing Uffington white horse carved out of the chalk landscape. Originally it was actually ditches, and then they cut out chalk from other parts of the hill and ground that down and packed that into the ditch that was left. So here we're looking at the head of the horse and down through its spine where the tail would be. One of the odd things about it that appears to me is it appears to be, this sounds a strange thing to say, in slightly the wrong location, because if you wanted to see it from the maximum number of people from the hillside, I would have thought you would have put it further down the hillside down there where there's more of an angle of a slope, so it would have been visible, because you can't see it from Uffington at all, although I think you can from the village of Longcott. So why was it placed here, this exact spot? Well, that's got scientists and historians thinking and puzzled across the generations. So what I'm going to do to close the video, I think, is to go to the village of Fernham, which I think is probably going to have the best view looking across to the White Horse here. So we can get a better view of it on there. But one thing to add is that one of the things that has been speculated about the horse and why it is in that exact position is to do with the sun. Now, at certain times in the winter, it appears that the horse is galloping across the sun in terms of shadows. And is there a relationship between that and astronomy? Well, we don't know, of course, but it sounds a very, very interesting theory. And obviously, clearly, it was built, or rather carved out of this, in that exact spot for a very precise reason, which has now been lost over the mists of time. Now, the amazing White Horse there, this site here is managed by the National Trust, and every few years they do have to restore it because grass does tend to ingress over the white chalk there to, well, kind of ruin the edging of the clear lines of the horse. So it does have to have some preservation work done on it by relining the chalk there. That actually used to happen way back in the 1600s. They used to have a festival up here at nearby Uffington Castle, just a little bit further up. Unfortunately, I won't have time to walk up that way today, but they used to have a big gathering there to make a big thing of the renewal here of the horse on the hill here in Oxfordshire. One of the earliest references to this horse in literature is actually in the Red Book of Hargis. Flynn Hargest. That's probably the wrong pronunciation. That's my best attempt anyway. So that's published around 1375 to 1425, and it refers to a horse on a mountain, as it describes it in the book, near the town of Uffington, Ton, obviously clearly meaning Abingdon, further over that way towards the city of Oxford, of course, on the River Thames, and well, not that, a million miles away from there, referring to that. So that's just shows you how far back it goes, and the importance of this hill here in Oxfordshire. That's it for this short bite here today on West Country Wandering, so you can join me on the channel again very soon. All the best for now. Cheers. Bye bye.